Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV News Daily. I'm here with Robbie. How you doing, Robbie?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
It's a big day. We've got a big one. I know the headlines about Jack Wilshere. We're going to talk about that, but this could be a very, very, very big day for English football. So we're gonna talk about all that.
Yeah.
A lot to go
Newcastle.
into. The breaking news in the last 20 minutes or so. What does it mean for Arsenal? We're going to go into all that. But before we do, a big thanks to today's sponsor, Ultimate Fan. Have you been playing your Ultimate Fan?
I have been, mate. I've got on my phone. Every week you can open a new pack.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of packs to open, man.
Good stuff. Well, before we do, for any of you who haven't played Ultimate Fan, we've been playing it every week. Think fantasy football meets FIFA card openings. I didn't play a lot of FIFA, but I've got to say Ultimate Fan's got me into that a little bit. So essentially, you open packs every week, you get players, you pick which players you want in your roster, and every game week they play, earn you points, fantasy football style. But obviously, with the international break coming up, there is a twist this week with £8,500 up for grabs. Whilst the league takes an international break, you've got the chance to use your players in their respective international contest, and in Tuesday's pack drop you'll receive a European country to add to your team ahead of the game week deadline on the evening of the Friday 8th of October. All players will be listed in your squad as usual, and you'll need to select the Europeans amongst them who are off on international duty, and before setting your team, check the international fixtures for those double game week matches. Good luck to you guys, and you've got your pack to open already.
My pack,
yeah,
man.
go on, open your pack.
Listen.
Go on.
Right.
Are you been excited for this?
You just swipe up. I've got this first one.
Yeah.
Right, opening it up. Oh, that's not bad, man. Raheem Sterling.
Okay, do you know what?
Oh, I tell you, I'm getting some good players in my pack, man.
He always plays well for England as
Raheem
well. So
Sterling,
good shout.
he's a gold one as well.
Yeah, nice.
Ratchik of Brentford.
Oh, okay.
And I've got Slovenia as a country.
Okay, there you go.
Big up Slovenia, man. But I was hoping to have got,
Spain, after what they did to Italy last night.
Or even England.
My God.
I've got a gold pack to open, so let me open my gold pack.
You got more?
Yeah, man,
right,
trust me.
Right,
gold pack. I've got Tchaikovsky of Burnley, Patrick Bamford.
Nice.
Of Leeds. And Spain.
And then Spain.
Yes.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. And I've got one more pack available, actually. Wait, last pack. The winner's pack, because the other day, I think what it was, when you go into head-to-head clashes.
Yeah.
I won that. I think I've won that 2 weeks in a row with the people that I was head-to-head with. So
good work.
Who do I get? I think you only get one in this.
Oh,
Sarr.
It's made a Sarr.
Sarr of Watford. That's not a bad shout as well.
Not at all.
So I'll get that into my squad. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm happy with
that. Good work. Guys, go open your packs. Let us know how you do in the international break. But yeah, big up to Ultimate Fan. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Now, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to get onto the Jack Wilshere stuff.
Yeah.
But on those very rare occasions on News Daily, something breaks at 5:45, whatever it is, before we go live, or we've prepped our show, and it gets bumped to the front. Everything else just gets pushed back a little bit because we've got a takeover to talk about. Now, I just want to address something before we go into it. There are obviously a lot of ethical discussions going on around this. We're here to talk about it from a football perspective and from Arsenal's perspective. And I understand that there's a lot of debate online, a lot of conflict about what's right, what's wrong, well, where do you start? Well, at what point, we're not trying to ignore all that. But we're here to talk about it from Arsenal's perspective. The Big Six, as I saw Turkish post on his Big Six social.
A Newcastle fan.
Yeah, he said the Big Seven now. Yeah, there you go. But listen, what does this mean for Arsenal? This is huge.
Well, I think for the Premier League, it's huge, right? Yeah. First and foremost, I think, and I was just looking at this comment here from Brandon AFC TV. He said, Newcastle set to leave us in the dust, but it's okay. Wilshere is back. Own the sentiment. Trust the process. But it's for the Premier League. I think it's huge because now what you've got is another powerhouse.
Yeah.
Joining the party. And the funny thing is about it is that Newcastle have always been a powerhouse anyway. If you've been to Newcastle, their support is unbelievable. Yeah. They've got one of the biggest stadiums in the country. They pack it out. When they go away from home, they've got some of the best fans around, right? And I always remember that season when Kevin Keegan was there and they nearly won the league. And at that time, they were everybody's favourite second team.
Yeah.
They really were because they played unbelievable football. They really were a team in the ascendancy.
Yeah.
Didn't win the league that season. Keegan ended up leaving. Mike Ashley came in and the whole club just went down like that. But they're a huge club that haven't won anything for years and years and years and years.
Well, championship.
But Well, apart from the Championship and the
Yeah.
team that gets relegated, I think you're even near the bottom half of the table right now, in the bottom 3, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Newcastle, when you say sleeping giant,
Yeah.
they are a sleeping giant. And with the amount of money that these guys, these people from Saudi Arabia have got, it's said to be worth over 300 billion.
For context, Kroenke's in the 6 to 8 billion.
Yeah, and he's one of the richest owners.
It's extraordinary money.
Extraordinary money. It's quite obvious that this is going to change the whole playing field. They got way more money than the Man City guys. They got way more money than Abramovich. They got way more money than Stan Kroenke. Way more money than the Man United guys. So it makes the Premier League stronger as a package, because now all of a sudden that's another team in the mix.
Another huge game.
And another huge game, and another team that's going to bring in top players. For Arsenal, it means if we don't get our act together, we slip even further down. Because there aren't anybody who knows sort of these sort of owners from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, anywhere there, they are not coming to invest that type of money, no matter what they are doing, to be second best, to be losing and stuff like that. They ain't Mike Ashley. These guys are going to come in and they're going to be serious.
Yeah.
They will buy big players. They will try and turn their aim will be to win the league. So unless our owners have that same aim and invest the right amount of money in, year out, I'm not just on about a one-off £150 million investment, we'll get left behind.
Yep.
And, people will talk about ethical. A lot of it is hate, let's be real. There's a lot of other teams that have got owners of, from various different backgrounds and countries that if you was to dig deep, they probably wouldn't pass the test either. Let's be real right now. Right? A lot of it is people are like, if those same owners were at our club, would we be questioning it? Let's be real, we wouldn't. So there are ethical issues around it, but it's going to happen now. It's been taking a long time to happen. It's going to happen, and it's kind of bad news for Arsenal fans. It's bad news for us, because it means that we slip further back.
It does.
And our owners have just not proven to us over the years that they're willing to invest year in, year out. So it's bad news.
Yeah, I think it is bad news for Arsenal, because the football fan in me is excited to see another great game on Super Sunday. Newcastle versus Man City is now a massive game. That's now a massive game.
I think the one thing you can say is that, where people say, well, might throw shade after Man City and say, well, your fans, how many fans are going to be there and that. You can't do that with Newcastle.
You
can't do that with Newcastle.
Yeah.
The fans are there. It's a one club, one city with one club in it.
Yeah.
If you're a Sunderland fan right now, you're pissed at it. You're down the pub and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah. But it's true, but because if you're looking to take over a club and you've got that kind of money, Newcastle's such a great... I kind of think, if you look at clubs in the Premier League, Arsenal's one of them, Newcastle, and these kind of sleeping giants that you think they're not where they should be in terms of...
Sleeping giant, Arsenal.
But they are, really, aren't they?
It is. It's horrible to even... Why should we be sleeping?
Well, when you're talking about... Well, okay, listen, people point towards the FA Cups, people talk about the Champions League football we've played over the last decade, although not for the last 5 years, and that's all true. But in terms of doing what their potential suggests, when you look at size of club, size of fan base, wealth of owner, reputation worldwide, when you look at all these things, Arsenal should be up there, and then Newcastle as well. 52,000 seat stadium, St James's Park. Don't know if they even still call it. It's been the Wonga Stadium, it's been all sorts. But St James's Park is going to fill out, and I think they're already saying that Steve Bruce is on his way out. They're not going to keep him. They've already decided that.
Steve Bruce, what, the guys coming with £320 billion? They're going to keep Steve Bruce. Listen, he got
I thought they'd give him 2 games.
They're probably like tapping up someone like a Conte right now.
They'll be going for Conte.
Yeah, they'll be saying to Conte, listen, unlimited funds, man.
They'll say that.
See, this is what we're going to face right now. This is what Arsenal are going to face. I think the big losers in this are clubs like Arsenal, Tottenham, even Liverpool. because their owners don't spend big, do they? They spend smart, but they don't spend big. You know, they're the big losers. The guys that don't care, or not that they don't care, but that will say to themselves, well, you know, we're ahead of you anyway.
Yeah,
is City and Chelsea. You know. But the big losers, maybe, I think even United are losers as well, because no longer are we going to be, you know, I mean, it's happening already now that teams like Man United and Arsenal, that in years gone by, we just assumed top four. As a matter of fact, we were angry with top four.
Yeah.
We're like, what's that? Team like this should be winning trophies.
Yeah.
Top four now is going to be a struggle for Arsenal every single season. With these guys coming in, now it's going to be it already is a struggle. Now it's going to be a big struggle every single season.
It is.
This is serious. This is serious.
I don't feel for United fans, but Man United already now in rivalries. They've already got City and Liverpool. And we saw the game on Sunday. Both sides looked unbelievable. Even head to head, it wasn't like one team was better than the other. Both had their moments of quality, and they're sublime teams. Leeds are back in the league, and now Newcastle are going to have all that. But I've got to say, it's a few teams going for United, you know.
I'll tell you. Let's get a few comments there. Suleiman says, hi guys, Suleiman here. Big up Suleiman. Really nice guy. He says, fun fact, Newcastle owners have a higher combined net worth than every Premier League team combined. He says, big up the AFTV team.
I saw that. Every
Premier League team combined.
It's mad, isn't it?
They could buy whoever, and Kahinde says effectively Arsenal is done for. The amount of expected investment coming into Newcastle, we're going down further. Patrick says Liverpool, United and Arsenal competing for one spot in the top four. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
sorry, Sion Davis says Newcastle will be like PSG and City. Just give it a decade and they'll be up there. Their owner's wealth is way beyond the likes of Abramovich. Jim Rich says 5 years, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man United will be squabbling for the top four, guaranteed. Right? Yeah. Fever Fox says Arsenal don't spend big, but we spend widely across many young talents. Let's hope it works out for us. But you see, the thing is, when you've got loads of money, you know, these new consortium at Newcastle can come in and say, Saka, 200 million. Emile Smith-Rowe, 200 million.
It's so depressing.
That's what that gives them the ability to do. What it gives you ability to do as well, when you got that sort of money, you don't have to let no one go either.
Yeah.
You don't have to let go players.
No, that's it.
You can buy a player, he don't work, and you just say, oh,
in the reserves,
We'll have to keep playing him and playing him and playing him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, come on, please work. They can just turn around and just say, yo, you know what, we bought Saka for 200 million. Ain't really worked out, so just sit down over there. We'll go and buy the next big thing. That's what it gives you the ability to do. And the other thing about it, I always say this, right? Just look around Europe if you think that money doesn't buy you success. Just look around.
Yes, true.
The team that wins the Premier League literally every year over the past few years has been Man City.
Yeah.
Why? Because they spend the most money. They've got Pep Guardiola and they've been able to spend nearly £1 billion on players. That's why Man City have been able to come from nowhere to be where they are, right? Chelsea were, when I was growing up as a kid, man, Chelsea was I wouldn't say nobodies, but they were nowhere near winning the league.
Yeah.
Right? Now, every year, they've won more leagues than us in recent times. They've won the Champions League. None of that happened until Abramovich showed up.
Yeah.
Money, right? Look at France. PSG win that league nearly every single year. Why?
Yeah, that's true.
Money. Portugal, right? The teams that win the league over there practically every year. It was broken this year by Sporting Lisbon. I think that's like the first time they've won that in about 10, 15 years. Normally it's either Porto or Benfica. They spend the most money.
Yeah.
Scotland, who spends the most money? Celtic or Rangers. They win the league. Spain, who spends the most money? Right? Barcelona, Real Madrid. Normally it's them who wins the league. It was broken by Atletico Madrid, but don't get it twisted. They spend a lot of money as well. They got players in there that they've paid over £100 million for, right? That they hardly even play.
Yeah.
Right? So again, money. Who spends the most money in German football? Bayern Munich. They win the league nearly every year, right? You know, just work it out. Just look at it. It's right in front of our faces. That is the reality of football right now. The teams that consistently spend the most money, that are able to then go out and buy the best players, win the league, win Champions Leagues. You know, very rare you get a Leicester story every now and again.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
Yeah.
Or a Lille.
Yeah.
What happened to Lille this year?
Yeah.
Lille won the league last year. Literally every single player, including the manager, gone because of money. Because they've not been able to... What should happen now, and I think this is the problem with sports really, in this country, in the UK and around Europe. But what should happen with Lille now, they should be able to kick on. They should be able to have kept nearly all of those players that helped them to win the league and bought in better to then maintain their place at the top, have a good shout at trying to win the Champions League, but they ain't got the money.
Yeah. They're
not paying these players the sort of wages that they can get elsewhere. So all of them, they're all gone.
Yeah.
First to go is the manager. He's not even like he left to go to, I don't know, one of the
Barcelona
top English clubs or Barcelona. He left to go to Nice.
Yeah.
Because they got more money. So this is the problem. Football and the winning of things nowadays is driven by money. End of. Simple.
Feeling good about Arsenal, guys.
And the most annoying thing is that we've got a very rich owner, because even though you're worth 320 billion, there's only a certain amount of money you can spend. You can't go and say, right, we're buying him for 10 billion, are we?
Well, also there's a cap on the ability of footballers.
Yeah.
You know, so you might have 320 billion. Most owners, the very richest, are operating around 6 to 12 billion or whatever. So of course it's way, way more. But there is a cap on how good footballers are, if you know what I mean. It's not like there's now another level, another pool of players that, you know, we didn't know about. You know, they're shopping from the same market. So, you know, I don't think they're going to, you know, run away with it and, you know, in give it 5 years, they're going to be winning the league for the next decade. I don't think it'll be like that. I think City and Chelsea will still be incredibly competitive with them. But, you know, we have got another powerhouse. We've got another
powerhouse. This guy, Saeem, says TG, right, and Shearer have been seen coming out of a mosque. Their prayers have been answered, bro. I'm telling you that. Their prayers have really been answered. Shafari's Omar, he says, hey FTV, shout out from Malaysia. Hopefully Newcastle will not just buy success like PSG and slowly be a big club by recruitments and the youth setup. Forget that, bro. They're spending big. They're spending big. What their plan's going to be, they'll sit down and they'll say, right, this is where we want to be in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And it's all going to be involving massive investment. And good luck to them. Listen, we can't begrudge Newcastle fans have had years and years of pain. Yeah. Pain.
Yeah. And terrible football, terrible managers.
Mike Ashley. Maybe it offers some hope for us, you know. You know what I mean? We sit there and we bemoan our owner of our football club, and Newcastle fans, I think, more than any club have suffered. Yeah. Because of the owner. And now all of a sudden they're gonna have multi-billionaires running their football club. So, you know, you can't even begrudge them right now. You know?
Listen, they've got the away days coming, they've got trophies coming. Yeah, it's a happy day for them. Yeah. It's a difficult day for us. We've got a super chat from Wayne, says, it's a myth that Arsenal don't spend. Arsenal have spent, but Wenger wasted it on trash. Ooh, controversial. Xhaka over Kante, Mustafi over Van Dijk. Recruitment was awful. No, I agree with those two.
Yeah, recruitment, but also, as I said, the ability to spend, what it does is if you buy Xhaka and it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's exactly
You don't have to persist with him for 3 years.
Look at Bakayoko at Chelsea. One season, 40 million. Didn't work? Oh, all right.
Yeah, shelve him. Yeah. Send him out on loan. Yeah, we're losing a load of money. So what? Let's get the next. Let's get the next big. Shevchenko didn't work at Chelsea. So what? It doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's go and get the next big thing. Yeah. Timo Werner last year didn't really work out. I tell you what, let's go and spend 100 million on Lukaku. Nobody else can do that. That's it's not just the money they spend. That's that ability that if it comes in and it don't work, it's like, it ain't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Play him out wide. Go and get Lukaku. We can't do that at Arsenal. We can't. It has to work.
Yeah.
It's Arteta. Get that to work. I've spent too much money out there. Make sure that works.
Yeah.
And then you got to persist. With those guys, Newcastle next season can buy Haaland.
Yeah. Or Mbappe.
Or Mbappe.
Like they can. They're on, which kind of is moving away from the Arsenal side of things now. But what does this mean for Newcastle? I mean, I can see them hiring Graham Potter. I could see it. Bruce is out.
I can see.
They'll bring in whoever they want.
Potter. I can see them going out there and getting Conte. He's available right now.
Do you think Conte would take it?
What, with that budget?
But there's still. but okay.
Wouldn't
but let's.
you?
Well, of course I would. But let's for argument's sake, just for the sake of debate here, we saw with Man City, it happened quickly, but it's not overnight. There is sort of 4 or 5 years of buying players, that scrap to get back into the Champions League, getting the right manager and figuring yourself out at that level. There'll be a lot of wasted money. Does someone like Conte have 5 years before he gets to the kind of real deal? Because when did they get Robinho? 2008? And then won their first title in 2012. So 4 years is actually that's a quick turnaround.
4 years, and even before that, they'd won. Before they
won the FA Cup in 2011.
Yeah, so they're already starting on the rise. Yeah. They're already starting to win things. You know,
2007.
I mean, I don't think.
I
don't think they're going to say immediately trophy, but they're going to say immediately.
Yeah.
Big players, big profile.
Yeah, but City got Mark Hughes at the time. I remember. And then you build your way to.
Yeah, but it didn't take them long to build it.
It didn't take them long.
Same with Chelsea.
It didn't take them long.
Yeah. Didn't take them long, Chelsea, before they were winning the league.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's what I'm saying. Robert Petrie says, I've been a Newcastle fan and support for years, and I can honestly say I'm happy about this. Do feel sorry for Arsenal, a great club with a bad owner. Ask Ty, are we nobodies now? Laugh out loud, he says, great work. And Kenneth says, I can't wait for Putin to bid for Arsenal. Get in here right now. I mean, yeah. And Saeed TV says, could have been Arsenal, but they chose 8th. Laugh out loud. Is that Saeed?
I don't know if it's the real Saeed. People do make fake accounts. Big. I love Saeed.
I'll tell you what, Saeed, mate. If it is to you, it ain't just us right now in the mud over this.
Yeah.
You guys as well. Everybody is. This is going to shake up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Simon Hathaway says Griezmann knew the takeover would happen a while ago when he signed Mbappe in Football Manager.
Yeah, I've done a little Football Manager game with Newcastle, and they do have the old consortium comes in and suddenly get all this money, so it's quite fun. Yeah, okay, well look, we'll see. But Arsenal, listen, we better hope this Project Youth works. These players coming through the academy.
Again, the thing is about Project Youth is, as I said, you could build that player, you can bring that player up, and it's working. And then next minute, a team like Newcastle, a team like Man City, they've done it before with our talent. I remember Man City, that was one of the things they were doing when they were coming up. It was like, Arsenal got some good players. Let's go and buy Sanya. Yeah. Let's go and buy Nasri. Let's go and buy Clichy, Toure, Adebayor. Remember?
Yeah, it was painful.
We became a feeder club for Man City.
Yeah.
Right? And we sold them. We just sold them. Yeah, go and go. Right? This is the problem. It's going to be, I mean, the other thing I was thinking, James, as well, right? For Europe, I don't think the teams around Europe, and especially at UEFA, and I think those guys are going to be really unhappy about this.
Yeah.
Because what it is, it strengthens the Premier League again. And this is what I couldn't understand when the Super League thing was going on. I could never understand why. Well, I could understand because they're greedy MFs, right? But really and truly, a lot of the Premier League clubs did not need to enter into that Super League. And it's no surprise that when it started to crumble, all the Premier League clubs pulled out and said that they're doing it because, we've heard the fans and that. Yes, they had heard the fans, but also they didn't need it as much as Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus. Right. And now you see those clubs, they are struggling because their leagues are not as strong. It doesn't generate the amount of money that the Premier League does. But the Premier League now has now been strengthened by this. You've got, just look at this, right? You've got Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle now, who are going to be on mega money.
Yeah.
But then you've still got the powerhouses of Manchester United, Arsenal, right? You've got, who have I missed out here? You've got Liverpool, Liverpool fans. So you've got Liverpool. That's 6 clubs already, absolute powerhouses. Add to that clubs like Everton,
Villa,
that have got billionaires now, buying some serious players. Villa, like you said, right? Buying some serious players, Villa spending some serious money. That's already there. 8 absolutely huge teams, right?
Yeah.
Look at European football over recent years. Every time it's been a final, literally every final has had, last year's Champions League was 2 English clubs.
Yeah.
Right? The Europa League, an English club was in there. Previous year to that, 2 English clubs in the Champions League final, 2 English clubs in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
So the English clubs, with the amount of money that they've got, are going to dominate. You know what I mean? Teams, mid-table teams in English football, even bottom teams can pay way more wages than top teams in Italy and top teams in Germany. Right? So all the top talent is coming to this country now, which is great for the Premier League. But I feel that over in Europe, UEFA, they're going to be looking on it and saying, boy, man, if we don't do something soon to sort of break this monopoly that the Premier League is having over football, where's it going to leave us? Because honestly, the Premier League is becoming so powerful now. Yeah. And so watchable around the world with the teams that
this season's been fantastic already.
Yeah.
You're talking quality of football. Every day there's a different leader of the league table. It's already been fantastic. You're going to add another great side. Man United beat Norwich 4-1 on Ronaldo's return, but that would have been another Sky Live game or on BT or wherever it was. Whoever's going to have the rights, and it's going to be another game of football. It gets me wondering whether UEFA, in response, are going to have a rethink about the distribution of places in the Champions League going forward. I know they've already had a rethink that kicks in 2024, and they've confirmed that. But I wonder whether we're going to see a top 6 get Champions League football now, because how can you, as you said, when you talk about the money in the game, when you talk about the players these clubs will have, when you talk about reputation, size, people will want to watch Newcastle versus Real Madrid, even if Newcastle finish 6th in the league table, let's say, because people around the world are going to want to watch those players.
If all the biggest players are here, in the Premier League, why would you want to watch the Champions League?
But that's it, exactly.
At all,
exactly.
Right? Because right now, if you even look at La Liga, without Messi and Ronaldo, they've still got great players over there. But is it the same package? It's not, is it? That is what over the last 10 years or so has made La Liga so strong. Those two, the very best playing there. Now all of a sudden, they're going to other leagues. Yeah. And that has really weakened the package of La Liga. La Liga, they show it, was it on Premier TV? What's that channel?
Premier Sports.
Premier Sports. It's not even really being watched as it was before. Whereas the Premier League is watched everywhere around the world. And I'm just looking at it thinking to myself, are some of the powers that be in Europe really worried about this now that, forget Super League. The Super League might be here in the Premier League. If all the best players are going to be here because of the amount of money,
they are worried about it.
They've got to be worried about it,
Do you think there'll be more Champions League places for English clubs? Say, give it in the next decade. Do you think we'll see a change in?
I think they may. I don't know, because
it'll be too good for Europa League.
Yeah, I think if anything, in Europe, well, I guess there might be, because when you think about it, even at the moment, bringing in this Conference League was to try and create more European football for certain teams, isn't it? So it's crazy at the moment what's going on.
I do think they're trying to cast a wider net to catch more teams in the right competitions, but
so many comments are flying in. Newcastle will buy players from Barca, says Bar 88.
Yeah, probably.
Bob Cricket says Everton. Nick Nair says Leicester as well, Robbie. I forgot to speak about Leicester, of course. You know what I mean? You can talk about Leicester as well as being one of those teams up there. Victor Lang says Newcastle will be a top 4 team in the next 3 years. They will buy world-class players. Arsenal, this is a wake-up call. They could get a world-class players, Saudi owner worth 320 billion. Special K says, you all are getting this twisted. Saudis don't spend like the Qataris do. Newcastle fans will be disappointed. This takeover has been hyperbolized, right? I'm sorry, right? Saudis do spend a lot. All you got to do is take a trip around London and see how much they've invested in around London. That's invested in Saudi corporations, etc. They will spend big, right? I don't know if they spend as much money as the Qataris, but they will be spending certainly more money than some of, put it this way, than Aaron.
Yeah.
They'll be spending more money than him. Yeah. Rowan says, can someone explain what exactly is financial fair play? How are they going to stop a new powerhouses like Newcastle? Well, we got James here, and James is a very intelligent guy, knows his stats and everything. He will explain financial fair play to you right now. Go ahead. Exactly. I mean, what it's supposed to be... What financial fair play is supposed to... So financial fair play is supposed to be that you don't spend more than you earn. Basically, isn't it?
Essentially, I think the easiest way I could put it, because there's not a lot of evidence of people following it, I think the best way I could put it is what you earn, whether it's through sales, through revenue, sponsorship, whatever, will dictate how much you then have to spend. I don't know if it's exactly what you earn is what you can spend, whatever, because we know that there's owner investment as well. But then sometimes that can be fudged through other things. You know, where's that money come from? Oh, it was a sponsorship from this business I own. You know, it's so it's
what they've accused Man City of, what they've accused PSG over the years of basically sponsoring themselves.
Right.
So you turn around, you know, and you say, you know, well, we're going to be sponsored by Saudi Airlines. And remember, please don't sue me. This is just me just speculating.
It's an example.
An example. Thank you for the word, right? So we're going to be sponsored by Saudi Airlines, and Saudi Airlines are going to pay for that sponsorship over the next 10 years. Are going to pay £3 billion.
Yeah, it's a sponsorship worth 50 billion.
Yeah. And then basically, you know what I mean, you take that money and you do what you want. But basically, you've basically given yourself that money. And that is what City have been accused of. That is what PSG have been accused of, and a couple other teams as well. Basically sponsoring themselves to be able to use the money and spend. And let's hope it doesn't happen in this case. But
that financial fair play is an incredibly wishy-washy thing. I mean, I was even reading that because of the pandemic, they wanted to encourage clubs to spend and get the transfer market going. Yeah. So they've actually eased on it. I thought, eased on what? You know when you've got the handbrake on a car and it's barely lifted. It's a bit like that. They've just put it all the way down now. Like I don't really, but anyway. You know, and this is where you feel a little bit sorry for Arsenal, because when Arsenal moved to the Emirates, you know, we had things in our forecast. We had things like ticket revenue being a big deal, and suddenly the broadcast is the main, you know, route for money and all that. And then things like, you know, FFP, which I think Wenger complied with religiously and, you know, incredibly strictly. Turns out I don't think a lot of others were. But listen, I don't know. It's all speculative, guys.
Well, Wenger's always talking about these things being ethical. And although the other day I thought to myself, you know, now Arsene Wenger's arguing. Now he's at FIFA for a World Cup every 2 years, which for me, that's just a money thing as well. So, you don't even know what to feel nowadays. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. For years and years we tried to we tried to stick to financial fair play. But let's be real. If you stick to that, I mean, no one else is sticking to it.
Yeah, doesn't look like it anyway.
You know.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next bit of news? But I mean, I've got to say, it's going to be interesting.
This has kind of taken over everything. I mean, even there's so many more comments. Let me do a few more comments here.
Yeah, go for it.
Farhan says, Robbie, I have a fear that United will get Zidane and will dominate Europe for years. Ronaldo knows Zidane and he's a winner. and they have a perfect match, we should stop them by going for him first. Maybe he might be at Newcastle. Zidane.
Might well be.
Yeah?
Nothing's out of the realm of possibility now.
Luke says, let's stop crying as Arsenal fans. We live in the past. The way we do things, ethics isn't a question in football. UEFA are corrupt governing body, he says. And Agent E says, where are the Qataris when we want them to buy Arsenal? Please come and save us. We're thirsty. We need oil as soon as possible. There was rumours. Remember, there was rumours the other day of a Qatari wanting to buy Arsenal. A lot of these fans that are online bemoaning the fact that Newcastle are being bought by the Saudis and saying that, due to human rights and things like this should be turned down. If the Saudis came to buy us, would we be saying the same thing? Would you?
I don't like it, but as you said, what point is...
Any Chelsea fan,
what do you...
looking into Roman Abramovich dealings,
I'll be honest. I need to read up on it more. It's kind of I've not really paid too much attention.
You sound like that's probably what every Newcastle fan's saying right now. When you ask them.
Probably.
Yeah, let me read up a bit more about it.
Yeah, because you're right. I don't like it. I don't like it. But who am I to sort of sit here tucking into Man City Chelsea last weekend, going, what a great game of football! Look at all these players. I love it. What a great product. What great entertainment. And then go, but not really ethical. I've been...
Is everything ethical from all the American...
I've been soaking up the product, haven't I?
That's how you got to start, listen, I'm not defending any of them, but all the American owners ethical? Even some of the English owners, we've seen the other day with Derby County and some of the shenanigans that have gone on, Are we really...
Football's a very dirty business.
Yeah, is it for us to really talk about these sort of things, And, we're being a bit rich here, aren't we? So...
But that's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's why I'm sort of keeping my lips shut a little bit on this, because I just feel like I'm being a hypocrite either way.
I love this comment here that's coming from Cloud Strife. He says, I guess this means the fuel shortage is over. Love that. I like that, man. You guys have got some humour, man, I'll tell you.
Do you know what? The comment section on days like today are fantastic.
Oh my God.
Big up to you guys.
And this guy, This Is England, says Steve Bruce in, Arteta out.
No,
thank you. And Matt Stewart says the Kroenke has ties to the Walmart family, and read up on them and making people homeless in the US. So everybody's got skeletons, listen. And Mukhtar says Alan Shearer is the happiest pundit right now. I'm sure he is. And Sam Croft says in 14 years of Mike Ashley ownership, Newcastle went from Sam Allardyce to Steve Bruce. Progress, he says. Right? And obviously Kieran says Messi's contract expires in 2023. Hashtag Messi to Newcastle.
There you go.
Wow. Well, we're gonna have to...
I tell you what, this has made the January window more exciting.
Do you think the Kroenkes?
Yeah.
I've heard this news today and thought to myself, oh wow.
No.
Or do you think they really don't care?
I don't even think they know. I think they're by a pool somewhere, and someone would have pinged on their phone. They're gone, and then put it down and got on with their lives. No.
Akil says Willett will be sold by Newcastle for Kevin De Bruyne next year.
Yeah, well, listen, we saw Man City poach the Robinho from Real Madrid. At the time, poaching Kolo Touré from Arsenal was a massive deal, and they did it. I think in the same summer they got Adebayor and Clichy. So nothing's beyond the realm of possibility. All I'll say is there's more money in the league now, and actually I do think I'm going to give players this. I think players do care about where they're playing their football. I do think they care. I'm not saying there's any reason why you wouldn't want to play for Newcastle. I'm just saying if a Smith Rowe or Saka, who we know love Arsenal, and then Newcastle come in, they might say to a point, you know what? How much money's enough? I want to be at Arsenal. I don't need that. So I do think that's going to play a part. But yeah.
But maybe I don't know if Brennan can get a poll up, to ask fans if would they have a problem if the Saudis took over at Arsenal? You know what I mean? Because there are some people, as I said, a lot of people quoting the fact that, you know, due to human rights issues and that.
Yeah, of course.
Some, you know, would people would Arsenal fans have a problem if the Saudis took over the club? That's what I'd like to find out. You know what I mean?
I'd like to find out
right?
too.
Because, you know, I've seen some people saying, "Oh, there's human rights," and you know, let's put it to the test.
Yeah. You got Sion, says, James, players care where they play, but then you'll get some players who want to be the breakthrough star at a potentially new powerhouse. Yeah, I get that. I mean, you could say Aguero was that. Came in, yeah, they won an FA Cup, but that was it.
Robinho thought he's going Man United. So that's what I'm saying. Listen, money talks, man. Money talks.
Yeah, it sounds like he didn't quite know about that one, though. No, exactly. But on that question you asked about the Cronkies, I sort of jokingly just kind of batted off as no, they don't care. I think someone like Josh, who's more involved than Stan, I do think he'll have noticed. And I do wonder whether there'll be a sense of, does our long-term project, does it stand up to another powerhouse being in there? Because if you...
Could be, yeah. Sorry.
Because if you... The one thing I'll say is Chelsea have had all this money for how long? Since 2004? Whenever it was. And they have dropped out of the top four a few times. They've not won the Premier League every year and dominating the way you'd think. Man City then come. And you know what? It wasn't until Pep Guardiola came along that they actually started dominating. Yeah, they won titles, but dominating. So it won't guarantee anything. We'll make it more competitive, but it's gonna shake up the market in England. We said that Arsenal had a busy window because they spent 150 million. That might have to be the going rate now, just to upgrade your team and keep up every summer.
Will the Cronkies? This is another question as well, and this has really taken over the whole show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really has.
But because it's huge news. It's huge news, right?
Yeah.
Will the Cronkies think on it now and say to themselves, you know what? Maybe it's time to sell.
Yeah.
You know, look who we've got to compete with now. We've got to compete with City, Chelsea,
That's
Man
a great
United.
question.
You know, now we've got Newcastle in there. Everton's owners have got a bit of money. Villa. You know, Super League idea's dead.
Yeah.
Should we just sell this thing now? You know what I mean? We're never going to make the money. It's Liverpool there. Leicester's owners are rich and spending. Oh, should we let's just cash in our chips now and get out? You never know. It could lead to that.
No, you're right. It could. It also, as we said, it makes the Premier League a greater product. So could there be more in it for Arsenal?
And then after that, say if they did sell, would Arsenal fans still be happy with Daniel Ek? He'd be a bit broke in comparison to these guys, isn't it? You might be looking at it and saying, "Is that it? How much you got? $1 billion? Yeah, bro."
And he comes.
Is that it? That ain't enough, man. No, man. We're gonna
just the 4 billion. Is that it?
Is that how much you got? 4 billion.
4 billion.
4 billion.
3 to 4.
Bro.
Something like that. Yeah. Is that it?
That's not enough, man.
And even he comes with controversy.
Newcastle, man, they got 320.
Yeah.
Blitz Monster 1 says, no, I'm not worried about human rights. I want a sugar daddy. I even want a sugar mama for myself, he says. Bloody hell. Oh, you guys are killing me today, man.
But even Ek comes with controversy.
Yeah.
Right, because of the music industry and all that. And, you know, we did a great interview on AFTV where that was kind of somewhat partially answered. But, you know, there's always, when you're talking about billionaires, you're more often than not discussing some sort of controversy, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Anyway, look, shall we? Well, have you got another comment?
No, I was just looking at some of these comments are making me laugh. Nikos says, Elon in.
Nah, because he'll put the Emirates on the moon.
Unknown Army says, we need Elon Musk. So it looks like the Daniel Ek money might not be enough, right? There's another guy here. Well, I can't find that comments. He said he wants Bill Gates. You know what I mean? So, you know, Zerks, he says, we need Bill Gates.
Elon in.
So they're all Elon in. That might be the new hashtag.
Elon in.
Elon in. And just going to the poll. Let me see how that poll's doing. So we're asking the question.
695 votes so far.
Yeah, which would Arsenal fans have a problem if the Saudi Arabians took over the club due to human rights, etc.? 27% say yes, 73% no. We'll keep that poll going till the end of the show, but at the moment, it looks like you guys wouldn't be bothered about human rights. You just want a rich person to buy the club.
Someone's already put Daniel Ek out. He's not even bought the club.
Poor Daniel Ek, man. You know what I mean? Now you're broke with a couple billion. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Bezos. Billy Faraday says Bezos in. Jeff Bezos. Guna says get the Rothschilds. Tintin11 says Kylie Jenner in. Dangote in, says Sharma.
We are desperate, aren't we?
All eyes on me says get Escobar in. Well, I think he's no longer here, but I get your meaning. They want money, man. They want money right now.
But building the Tesla Stadium by 2025.
The Tesla Stadium, yeah, not the Emirates Stadium, the Tesla Stadium.
I tell you what, that'd be an unbelievable ground, wouldn't it? Wow. Anyway,
Don Robbie in says, listen, I ain't got. We're talking billions here, bro.
How many billions shy are you?
I wouldn't even come in their conversation. Alex says El Chapo in. Oh my God.
It's mad.
Rihanna in, says Garth Henry.
There's a few names popping up. You lot are having your fun.
Sorry, you was going to move on to another subject.
Oh, Joe.
You know, there is no other subject tonight. It's just taken over. This has taken over.
It has.
Because honestly,
Kanye West in.
Jay-Z in. Trump in, they said.
Bloody hell.
But it's
Flamini. Come save us, Flamini.
It's only about $1 billion, though, isn't it? That's still not. Ain't enough, man.
Sorry.
Billion can't cut it, bro.
Sorry.
Imagine that.
Is that all you're worth? Pathetic.
Honestly, it's...
Tony Stark.
Oh, we shouldn't even be laughing, you know, because right now, wait, if these, you know, well, not if these, Tony Stark. But the thing is, James, where will we finish now? Think about it, right? The last 2 seasons, we finished 8th.
Yeah. Well, we dropped to 9th now, don't we?
I mean, it is.
Oh.
The more you think about it, I mean, this is serious.
I think look, it is. I always believe football comes in kind of cycles, and Arsenal are going through a lull like they did in the 80s. Brendan's still laughing. What's he heard?
What's he heard now? Squid Game guy. That's what's it? What's it? The front man. We need the front man at Arsenal, yeah? We need the front man at Arsenal, trust me.
Someone put Jake Paul in. Imagine Jake Paul bought Arsenal Football Club.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I think football comes in cycles, and look at Liverpool. Yeah, they spend money, but no more than kind of most big clubs would. And look, they won the Champions League, they won the Premier League. They've been competing at the highest level of Premier League football for 4 or 5 years because they've got a great manager and they invested really well. So this isn't the end of Arsenal, but it means we've got to be even smarter. We can't waste the millions.
It should be a wake-up call for the Cronkies. It should be, yeah. So, you know, they should be saying to themselves, wow, you know, and even if they can't afford it, then either sell it or you got to go and get investment in. You know, further investment in. But I think this is a serious.
Yeah.
This is serious for us. I you know, I remember, like, you know, when it was proposed before, and when it didn't happen, I was kind of relieved, man. I was like, you know, because as I said, everything's kind of in place at Newcastle for that to be a powerhouse. They've got the fans, they've got the ground, they've got, even though they've not won anything for such a long time, they've got the history.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go around the world, you know, them black and white stripes, Newcastle, that club can become big in a very short space of time.
And they've got the city. People love going to Newcastle. Yeah. It's a thriving city. It's
and as I said before, I don't know if you know, obviously it's not really your era, but if you remember that Newcastle team with Kevin Keegan when he came in, and Espria and Philip Albert and then they got Shearer, and they were an exciting team, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's second team, and if they can recapture that vibe, they're going to be a serious. Along with the money, look at PSG.
Yeah.
PSG have got Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe up front.
Not bad.
PSG got offered 160 million. This is when I say this is what the money gives you the ability to do. 160 or 50 or 160 million pounds for a player that's contract in Mbappe is up at the end of the season, right? Which every other club, right, any sane club who ain't got the money would have had to have just said, yeah, listen, my God, take him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the season, he's going to be able to walk away for nothing. Because in January, he's going to be able to, sign a pre-contract with any club he wants.
Yeah.
And they were able to turn around to Real Madrid and say, you know what, get lost.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere. We don't care if we lose £160 million at the end of the season. That's what the money gives you the ability to do.
I know. It gives you control. It gives you control. It means that a club like Chelsea can buy all these players. It doesn't work. They rot in the reserves. They get the next one in. And that's what Arsenal haven't been able to do. And it is where I sympathise a little bit with Arteta and Edu and the type of recruitment they've tried to do, because you can't. We kept saying we need a central midfielder. We need a central midfielder. But if Roma are offering poor money for Granit Xhaka, they just can't do the deal. Or at least maybe they can, but not without consequences. And it's more difficult for us, because that's when we talk about Kroenke investment. It's no matter what, bringing in what they want. And in fairness, there was a lot of it this summer, and it seemed like a step in the right direction. But 150 million on the back of what other clubs have been doing for the last 5 to 10 years. We're still playing catch up. It's a lot of money that's spent, but we're still playing catch up. But anyway, yeah, God, Tony Stark killed me. That was unbelievable.
The other thing is as well, as Rabadam says, if Mohammed bin Salman is fit and proper to own a club, then absolutely anybody is. And when I'm going back to that poll, still 69% of you would take the Saudi owners. You obviously don't have an issue with the supposed human rights abuses, so you would take it. And for Newcastle fans, and maybe it's again a message to Arsenal fans and the other fans of clubs that have owners that we don't think are doing the right thing for our club. I mean, what it means for Newcastle fans is Mike Ashley is gone. After all the years he's been there, all the misery that he's caused to the fans up there, he's going to be no more with this takeover deal. No more Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
Which I think that will please. Not only have they got rid of Mike Ashley, but they've hit the jackpot. You know what I mean? It must be a great day if you're a Newcastle fan. I mean,
they hate.
I saw Matty, who does the Magpie channel. He had his beer out, everything, mate. It's happy days for him.
Yeah. He'd be loving it. We've got a Jermaine super chat says Tony Stark will put rockets in Aubameyang's boots.
Could do with that, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The Avengers Stadium, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. This is. I'll tell you what. I don't think it's going to change much for this season. They'll get a new manager in. They'll probably spend a little bit in January. It won't change too much this season. Newcastle will stay in the Premier League quite comfortably, and that will be that.
But next
summer, Arsenal, you better get the summer when you can.
Next summer, they will be coming with some, because the thing that's going to give them now is they'll be able to pay the big wages.
Yeah. Apparently, Newcastle's Instagram is rising in terms of numbers. That wouldn't surprise me. That's a comment from Mukhtar. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's all these things that it'll get to a point where it starts paying for itself. That the players you're bringing in, what that does commercially, what that does for your social media following, what that does for and Newcastle, they have a global fan base already. They've had great kind of, not just what they've done off the pitch. Did you ever see the Goal movies? They were films that even I kind of not loved Newcastle. I'm an Arsenal fan, but even I really like Newcastle because of those films. And you're right, they're picking up a club that has everything in place, and they go, right, cash injection, let's get the football right. And then the other things they'll probably expand the stadium at some point.
And if you look at Newcastle, basically, Mike Ashley's run the place down over the past few years as well, because he's been knowing that he's been trying to sell it. So he hasn't invested hardly any money. He hasn't invested money in the training ground. He hasn't done anything. So honestly, it's a new dawn for that football club.
Yeah.
And it's very, very. I mean, you look at our club, Arsenal. This is not good news.
No,
this is not good news. If you're an Arsenal fan, this is not good news. Because basically there is another big boy in town now, and we're already in 8th as it is without Newcastle now coming into the mix. We don't get our act together. Mid-table is a real.
Yeah. Hey, I agree with everything you're saying. Suhaib says, talk about Wilshere, guys. You're giving me depression.
Let's round up by talking about Jack Wilshere. It is great to see him, in training with Arsenal. I'm really hopeful that, Jack Wilshere can get his fitness back and get back into playing football. He's still not even 30 yet.
That's it.
He's been so unlucky with injuries. So unlucky with injuries, man. It's the side of football that we don't see. When a footballer who wants to play, who's desperate to play, can't play, not because he's lazy, not because he doesn't want to, because he can't, because he's just constantly injured. And I really hope that he can get himself fit. I'd love to see him in an Arsenal. I know I'm dreaming here.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him get fit. And literally Arsenal say, we'll sign you on because they could do this because he's doesn't have a contract at the moment.
Yeah.
And say to him, what, Jack, you're so fit, you're so doing well at the moment. Let's put you on a pay as you play sort of thing. And that guy comes and plays a game. That would be a dream.
Yeah. It would be. Well, with Xhaka's injury, he's back in training. Arteta's going to see him every day. I do believe in form as temporary, class as permanent. I do believe. If you went to training now and you watched him, he'd probably look as good as the rest. The question is, can he keep fit? Does Arteta feel he's the kind of player he'd want? I also believe, to a degree, people were saying when he struggled at Bournemouth, didn't work at West Ham. I do also believe that certain players are elevated by those around them. I do think you play with quality players and suddenly they look quality. So I'm not really worried about Jack Wilshere's talent as a footballer, but it will be about whether even Arteta thinks this is sending the right message. We're about starting something young and fresh and new.
If you've got a Jack Wilshere and he managed to get himself up to speed, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Even him playing alongside some of the young players. I saw this thing. I was reading about this thing today where they're saying there's been some clubs that have been signing older players that they know are not going to play in their first team, only to play in their under-23s because they can bring the under-23 players through. I was reading about it this morning. There's certain clubs, it's like a policy that they're doing. And I don't want to see him signed to be playing in the under-23s, but I'm just saying that you can only gain from the experience of a player like Jack Wilshere who loves the club, knows what Arsenal's all about. I mean, it'd be fantastic for me, but maybe I'm dreaming a bit. No,
listen, I'd love to see it too. I mean, we'll see. I mean, some of the quotes from Arteta, I watched his interview, which was interesting, that the club did an interview with Arteta on it. And I guess my brief thoughts on it are, we want communication from the club. Fair play. They've come out. I didn't think this kind of thing even needed an explanation, but fair enough that they want to explain why he's back and what he's here for, and they have. Arteta spoke glowingly about him and said that, listen, he's here to train, he's going to be doing his coaching badges, we know what he wants out of this. And then there was a little bit of a push on, will he be playing maybe one day in the team? And he basically said that's not in the plans. I always think either way, even if it was a plan that, we're going to see how you do for a month and maybe bring you in, they would never say it because you're going to get the fans excited and all that. So we were never going to, hear about whether he's got a future as a potential first teamer again. But he's back playing, he's training, he's doing his coaching badges. And then the other bit of news from today is that Tomiyasu's won Player of the Month. So well done to Tomiyasu.
Congratulations going out to Tomiyasu, well deserved.
Yeah.
Let me just before we go, there's a couple of super chats here. Carlos Bedolla says, thoughts on giving the Premier League an extra or maybe 2 Champions League spots. It makes sense now. Premier League is basically the Super League. We spoke about that earlier.
It will happen.
And as I said, I'm not even too sure if that will happen, James. Because
you don't?
Because as I said, I actually think that in Europe, they're going to be very pissed off about this situation right now. Arsenal. Yeah. In the Premier League where they've got so many strong teams. If they give the Premier League 6 places, basically, with the strength of the teams that will be in there, it might be that, they'll dominate the Champions League even more.
People will watch it.
They will, but the Premier League teams are dominating the Champions League and the Europa League right now. And if the other teams in Europe, they're not going to be happy seeing this. In German football, they're not going to be happy seeing, same in Italy, same in Spain. They're not going to be happy to see that there's year in, year out now, we are seeing the English clubs dominating all of those European competitions. They may not win it every year, but they always seem to be in the final or at minimum the semi-finals, an English club.
Yeah. So
I don't think they give us 6 places. If anything, I don't know.
I think they will. I think about 5-6 years time, that will start to become.
Like the guy says, basically we might be our own Super League. We may not need them. Mobile Gaming says takeover means nothing if football is good. I don't see any Liverpool fans worried about this. Good manager and players will always churn the results. Well, he says say no to oil money, hashtag. Well, I don't agree with you. I think it does make a difference. We only have to look at Chelsea. We only have to look at Manchester City. We only have to look at PSG. There's 3 big examples for you. Where were they all 15 years ago? Nowhere. Now where are they? So it does make a big difference. Even a Liverpool fan, you should be worried, right? Remember, only the top 4 gets into the Champions League. Now Newcastle are in the mix. Every big team up there should be worried about this.
Yeah.
Going to wrap it up now?
Let's wrap it up. Just a last bit of news that Arsenal have deferred a payment from Derby County. Also, do you remember when they signed Christian Bielik? They obviously were paying in instalments. Derby are going through real issues right now, and Arsenal have deferred. I think it's about 1.4 million of the payments meant to come in. They're still owed quite a lot of money from the club, but classy gesture from Arsenal. On the back of this Newcastle news, I'll take everything you can get.
It just goes to show you the contrast in football, isn't it? That we're talking about, owners worth 320 billion. We're talking about, boy, has Daniel ain't got enough money at Arsenal, and then
unbelievable.
You then look at a club like Derby, traditionally a huge club in this country, now in administration, points taken away, the club in an absolute mess because of money. Yeah. So there it is. I think that's the best way to end. Yeah. Just to talk about, that is the contrast in football, and that's where we need a bit more parity. It don't look like we're going to be getting that anytime soon. Listen, thanks for watching the show today,
as
James.
Always, yeah. Thank you,
Blessings
Robbie, for joining.
As usual, man.
Go play Ultimate Fan, as always. There's always the with the international break as well. There's this sort of two games going on as well. But for some teams, obviously, £8,500 up for grabs, and obviously there's a pack drop ahead of tomorrow as well. So go play Ultimate Fan.
Lastly, on that poll, 69% of you. 69% of you said you'd take the Saudis at Arsenal. So,
all right, guys, been great as always. Fun one this, and Tony Stark FC in. Let's see what happens. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, all that. We'll see you tomorrow.